Hey, word explorers, this is Mrs. Bacavento. I am back with you today to explore words, and today's a meaning day. So when we look at our sorts and we think about our sorts, we're going to be thinking meaning. So let's explore our words. The first one that I want to show you is our word study choice board with all of these different activities that I know you're so familiar with at this point. We've done Yup, Maybe, Ha, Shades of Meaning, Picture It. We did word riddles. Some of you sent me some really cool word riddles, and I loved seeing them. We also did commercials. You wrote your own commercials. Some of you video taped yourself, you recorded yourself, and you sent them to me. They were amazing. Recently, what we did was we wrote some word crossword puzzles, and you have to think meaning when you write the clues, and if you write them correctly, then people will be able to correctly put the words into your crossword puzzle and solve them. So all of these activities and the activities we've done for Meaning Day are great activities for you to do today if you started a new sort. So I'm looking at sort 24 because I was on 23 before. You're going to be on whatever sort works for you. Remember, all of the activities and routines that I show you are good with any sort that you're on. Okay, so the sort that we're doing today, the routine that we're doing today is called homophones, homographs, or none of the above. Sounds like a game show, right? Homophones, homographs, or none of the above. So let me just review quickly homophones and homographs. So homophones are words that sound the same, but they have different meanings and spellings. Okay. So when I look here at knows and knows, I think to myself, if he or she knows something, they know the answer. That is KNOWS, but it sounds like nose. And then nose on my face, it sounds the same, but it has a completely different meaning. I use my nose to smell. And on the other side, I have homographs. And I have these eyeballs here staring at you because I want you to know that they look the same, but they have different meanings. And sometimes when we have homographs, the words actually sound different as well. These two in front of you, these words actually sound the same, but they have different meanings, right? So glasses, like I have sunglasses that I wear to protect my eyes from the sun, or I have two glasses of water. Both of those words are spelled the same way and they have different meanings. Okay, so when I think homophones, I always think like hearing. That's why I have a ear over there. So when I think of homophones, I think about multiple meaning words. So spruce and spruce. So a spruce tree is a type of spruce. And to spruce something up, it means that you want to fancy it up. The next example I have for you is suit and suit. So when somebody says suit yourself, it means, okay, go ahead. You could do it your way, suit yourself. Wore a suit. If I wore a suit, a woman's suit would be a skirt and a jacket, or a man's suit that he could wear to a wedding or to work would be maybe long sleeves, and it would be pants, and he would have like a suit and tie. The next example is scale and scale. So I weigh myself on a scale, and Spider-Man can scale a wall, right? So it sounds the same, but it has different meanings. And the last one is fair and fair. A price that's fair, it means that we both agree on it, that we think it's right. And then to go to a fair, it's kind of like a carnival, but a fair is sometimes a little bit smaller than a carnival. So a place with rides and games. When I think of homographs, I'm thinking about how they look the same. And some of them here you might be familiar with. So I want to just remind you that because they're spelled the same way doesn't mean that they're pronounced the same, right? So homographs can sound different. So my first example is dessert and dessert. Okay, so we have desert like abandon, right? So I'm going to desert the kids that are making bad choices. I'm going to abandon them. I'm going to leave. A desert is an area of open land that's usually dry. Okay, so you could see they're spelled the same way, but they're pronounced differently. And then here I have bass and a bass. Okay, so again, if you look at the spelling, B-A-S-S, they're spelled the same way. So a bass is a type of fish and a bass is a type of instrument. My next example is close and close. So if I say that you are close to me, you're nearby, right? We're close. And then if I say close the door, you want to shut it. But if you see, they're both spelled the same way, but they have different pronunciations. Okay, they sound differently. And my last example is bow and bow. And when I look at my definitions here, to bow is to bend. Like if you ever see a piece of wood that gets a little bit wet, it starts to bend. So the wood is bowed. And then the other example is a ribbon that someone could wear in their hair is a bow. Okay, so when I think of my word study routine, I'm looking at my words and I'm trying to see, are there any homophones? Are there any homographs? Or none of the above? And just, I wanted to do a simple little chart here so you knew what it looked like in your notebook. I made 3 columns and I wrote homophones, none of the above, or homographs. And what I would do is I would go back to my word study list and I would ask myself, are any of my words able to fit into my chart here? And I don't want to give away all the choices for sort 24, but the first one that I actually looked at, let me give you the sort here. I looked at the word wave, which I think we're familiar with, right? So wave is to wave to a friend, or wave, like in the ocean, there's a wave, right? So I want to know that they sound the same, they have different meanings, right? So then I come to my chart, and if I'm not sure, I have to write it down maybe, and I write down wave and wave in my notebook. And then I think to myself, which one does it fit into? And then I say to myself, well, these are words that sound the same, but they have different meanings and spellings. Well, if I say the word wave, like I wave to a friend, let me think. W-A-V-E. Okay. Wave, the wave in the ocean, W-A-V-E. These are both spelled the same. So it looks like here, these are spelled the same, but they have different meanings. Okay, so this would be a homograph. So I would go back to my chart and I would say to myself, I think these fit into the section right here where it says homographs. And I could write wave and I can write wave. And I would give a little bit of a definition. So wave, I would say the movement in your hand to say hello, the movement in my hand to say hello. And maybe I would even draw a little hand. I'm not an artist. And I could do like little marks to show that they're waving. And then I can say a wave like movement in the ocean. And I could draw a little picture if I choose. Okay, and I could put that right into my notebook. So you can draw a little picture and you can put a little definition and you can put it right underneath homographs. So I know that all of you might have different sorts and I think that's great. So what I want you to do is go ahead back into your sort and I want you to make this chart in your notebook. So homophones, words that sound the same, none of the above, and homographs, words that look the same. And I want to see if you can come up with a couple in each column. So good luck to all of you. I know you're going to be great with this routine. And remember, if there's a routine that you enjoy more, you can go ahead and do that as well. And enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you like this routine. Again, it is called homophones, homographs, or none of the above. All right, third graders, you did a great job today, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.